Today is Tuesday, January the 12th. I am your host, Casey Phoenix, and this is my daily thought. Where to start? Before I go any further, KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform. Also, the podcast is on Spotify, Google, Apple, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and plenty of other platforms too. I have to figure out what some of the other platforms are, but I know the podcast is distributed on many platforms. So feel free to check out the podcast on any of the platforms that work best for you. If you're watching this on YouTube or Daily Motion, don't forget to hit the subscribe button followed by the notification bell for YouTube. That will let you know when I upload new videos. Instagram, KIRWKC. I also upload videos on IGTV as well. Facebook.com/KIRWKC. Swing by the page, give a like, yada, yada, yada. Let's go ahead and get into this. I just have some things on my mind, and this doesn't even have anything to do with my daily thought, because I spoke to my mother this morning. I had sent her some cards, which I think I told you guys this. I sent her some cards that I had seen online because I had been doing my tarot card readings and stuff like that, but also I have like positivity cards and other types of cards that I bought to incorporate into the readings, because obviously I want to take things to a place of positivity. And one of the ones that I had found were the words of Jesus, is what I think. I'm trying to see it, but I can't over there. But yeah, it was like the words of Jesus or something to that effect. And they're on little cards. And I was like, oh, these are really nice. And I like to incorporate that. But then also I thought about my mother, because she had been dealing with some stuff, and I was like, okay, let me go ahead and send her these cards. So she had texted me yesterday, and she was like, haven't heard from you in a while. Are you doing okay? And then I just replied back, I'm fine. Because I was in the middle of something, and it was super duper busy yesterday when I was working on stuff, which is why I rarely talk to people that much these days. And I'm very protective of my time and of my energy, of how I give it out to people. So I was very short with that text message. And she was like, okay, glad to know, we're doing fine. Talk to you later. And I could tell, because I know my mother. Obviously, I've known her it'll be 42 years in June. But I could tell that she was already irritated by the text message, even though you can't always read emotion in the text message. I know my mother. So she called me this morning, and she had said, I want to say thank you for sending me these cards. These were really, really nice. And she said it cheered her up and whatnot. And I briefly spoke to her for that moment is what I did. But it's crazy how I just don't talk to people that much anymore. And also, one thing I used to hear people say, when I used to watch TV all the time, like my life before I started just constantly working from morning till night, was I wake up in the morning, I watch a little bit of TV, and then at night, I watch some more TV. On the weekends, I watch nothing but TV. And then that's it. Now, usually I'm watching, like, I'll have the TV going while I'm working, but I'm not necessarily watching it. I'm usually listening to something, some type of political show or a tarot card reading or what have you. I'm not really dialed into it. And then when I am able to sit down and focus, it's usually when I'm eating. Then I'm watching TV. And because of that, I don't get to consume as many TV shows as I once did. I could binge watch, a whole season in a day, go to another TV show, binge watch another season, and then be done with it. But it's not like that. I'm still getting caught up finally on the show Vikings, which I mentioned that before. And it irritates me because somebody had brought up The Boys, which, if you're not familiar, The Boys is on Amazon. While they were talking about something. And I was like, oh yeah, I haven't even watched season 2 of The Boys yet. And there's so many shows, and then also I have to get caught up on Riverdale. And like I get it now when the people who like work all the time, when they say, "Oh, I haven't seen that," or "I haven't watched that," because before I was working all the time, I was like, "You haven't watched that? Yeah, how have you not watched that?" So yeah. Now, this sort of dovetails into my daily thought because delegating, that is my thing now. That's what, and I brought it up before, but I decided to do an actual daily thought about it, where it's okay to be a one man or a one woman army at times. And one reason I usually do everything, well, there's two reasons. First reason is that if I do it, I know that I will more than likely get it done the way I want it done to a certain degree with certain tasks, which is why it's hard for me to relinquish power to someone else. Because when you assign a task to someone else to do something for you, you hope they accomplish the task, but it's still not guaranteed, you know? But with you, if you're the one doing it, it's all on you, which goes into the second reason. If something goes wrong, if I do it and it goes wrong, it doesn't sting as much because it's like, okay, my bad, I messed up. Which really, I hold myself to a higher standard than I hold other people to when I'm delegating something to them, when I'm assigning a task to them. I hold myself to a higher standard because that's just how I am. But delegating, you have to pick and choose. You can't just do every single thing in perpetuity. Some things, like when you're starting out at the beginning and so on and so forth, you can do that. But as you grow, as whatever you're doing grows, and I'm talking about in business, I'm talking about in life, when certain things grow. I'll give you an example. If it's just you and your significant other, okay, you might have to delegate, but maybe not so much. But then if you have 1, 2, 3 kids, in some cases 4 or 5, then that's where delegating comes in. Where if some of the kids are older, where if you have a 16-year-old, you can say, okay, you drive now, you pick up your little brothers and sisters or whatever. Just like with my brother, he had to take me to school because my mother was like, well, you have a car, you have a license, take your brother to school. That was her delegating. So she wouldn't have to take me to school. My brother could have drove himself to school, and then my mother could have drove me to school. And that could have been an option. But my mother's like, no. She decided to delegate that task to my brother. You have to know when to delegate certain things, and also you have to know when to hold on to certain things. Some things you always want to keep control of. Some things you always want to keep control of. Like, I'll just say, your publishing or whatever. And if you do have someone assist, you will limit the powers that they have. You have to figure out when to delegate, when not to delegate. And if you do delegate, how much power are you willing to relinquish to the other party to handle what needs to be handled? And that's what I'm still learning because I'm so used to doing things on my own. As I always say, snakes hunt alone. And it's a thing of where if you don't have to depend on someone, it just makes it easier in some cases. In other cases, where let's say I'm not a marketing person, I know about marketing. I have great marketing ideas. I've done stuff throughout my career that have helped companies and whatnot when it comes to marketing. But when it comes to targeted marketing, when it comes to like SEO, search engine optimization, things of that nature, that's not fully my wheelhouse. I know of it. Could I learn it? Yes, obviously. But do I have the time to dedicate to get up to speed with everything else that I'm doing? Is not necessarily an option. So then that's where I have to decide, do I want to learn more and more in regards to that type of marketing with search engine optimization and other things, or do I want to delegate it to someone which that is what they specialize in, that's what they trained in, this is what they live and breathe. And if I do assign them this task, how much power do I want to give them with the task in doing that? That is what I did with my YouTube channel, because the channel, it wasn't growing. So I was like, okay, something's going to have to give here. What I'm doing isn't working. Could I do something different and possibly scale a little bit faster? Yeah, I could. But I would rather focus on the creative and focus on some of the other things behind the scenes, administrative, because there's administrative stuff that I still deal with behind the scenes. So why not work with a company that specializes in channel growth, organic or otherwise? So that's what I did. And I grew my channel, got subscribers, and now my YouTube channel is monetized. I delegated that responsibility to somebody else, and it all worked out. You have to know when to delegate. Again, snakes hunt alone. And I strongly believe that if you can do it on your own, do it on your own. As things expand, as things grow, as things flourish, you'll then have to start making decisions. All right, I've been doing this on my own and things have been growing and this has been happening and that has been happening. What can I do to free up more of my time where I can talk to other people if I want on the phone, whether it be my mother, my god sisters, my little sister, my friends, or whoever, or to watch more shows like The Boys on Amazon, or to do this or to do that, or to focus on a different project in business and do that. You have to decide when the right time is to relinquish your hold on whatever task may be taking up your time. Because the goal is to maximize your time as much as possible. You want to get the most out of every second, out of every minute, out of every hour, out of every day. That's the goal. Sometimes you can do that by yourself. Sometimes the only way to get the best return on your time is to do it by yourself. Because the less cooks in the kitchen, less problems. However, there are moments where you have to have an assistant. I believe the term is sous chef, if I'm not mistaken. You have to have an assistant to help you with getting the recipe together, where you're not wasting your time chopping up the onions or, chopping up the pork or doing this or mixing up the sauce that goes into whatever you need to put it into. You're more or less making sure that the temperature is right for the oven, that the right pots are being used, and that all the ingredients that do need to be used are there. So again, it's about deciding when. Thank you. That was FedEx. It's about deciding when you need to and want to delegate. So yeah, delegating is a good thing when you know it will maximize your time. It's a good thing when you know it will maximize your time, your use of time, where it will allow you to continue to expand without weighing on you mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and so on and so forth. And you have to find that balance on when to delegate and when to not delegate. Because again, caveat, not every task is meant to be assigned to someone. Some things you just need to do on your own. I need to make that crystal clear, so you know that it's done right. But there are those times when you have to delegate. And that's what I'm in the middle of doing. Because things are happening, things are expanding a lot faster than I expected. But that's a good thing. It's a good thing. And there are certain things that I want done that I know if I assign it to the appropriate qualified individual, they will be able to maximize that time better than I can maximize that time. And while they're maximizing that time, it frees up my time to do something else, to continue expanding the Keeping It Real with KC show and brand. So yeah, don't be afraid to delegate from time to time. That's my daily thought. And there was something else I was planning on bringing up, and it's not coming. Oh, now I remember. This weekend, as long as I live to see it, I'll take any day for granted. And thank you for another day, universe. This weekend, I do not know what I'm doing for the show. I don't know if I'm doing a sports episode or Wacky News Weekend or a movie recommendation. I have not decided yet. And I probably will not know until Friday. Or maybe I may not even know until Saturday morning. So just a heads up on that. I don't know. Because honestly, I love doing the Wacky News Weekends. However, I haven't done a sports story in a while. And I haven't done a movie recommendation in a while, I think, too. So I'll figure it out. But I just want to let you guys know, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing this weekend for the show, but I'll figure it out. So yeah. Anyways, let me get going. I love you guys. KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform, KIRWKC, on all the social media platforms that I mentioned before. I already said it at the beginning. No need for me to repeat any of it again. If you like this video, please hit it with the like button. And also, don't forget to share. Sharing is caring. And if you want to comment, feel free to do that. I love when people comment. It's awesome. Until next time, be blessed.